following program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.
Welcome to Gate City Chronicles. I'm Kevin Avard, your host. Today we have Jackie Lee, one of our local producers and editors here, joining me as one of our guests. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Oh. So, you're one of the magic people that make everybody look good behind the camera.
Yeah.
And now, how long have you been doing this?
Oh, well, I went to school and I graduated in 2006, and then I went back to school. So overall, probably I've had about maybe 10 years.
What drew you to this type of industry? Is it the artistic part of it, or?
Yeah, I mean, I like creative work, and I've always been interested in movies and film, and I was interested in behind-the-scenes stuff and how they, did the effects and how they did, stuff backstage. So.
Well, when I see what you folks are doing on the computers, my stepdaughter has one of these iPad things, and she can make movies and put it on iTunes and YouTube in a heartbeat. And I look at that, oh my gosh. But then when you come here to the studio, there's other things that you can do. You've got little wavelengths, you can cut, you can add, you can stretch,
yep.
You can edit in videos and stuff. So that's what you do.
Yes, yes.
And obviously it takes a talent. Now, what programs are you proficient in?
I started off in Final Cut. I just learned Sony Vegas. I'm getting into Adobe Premiere Pro. I have a little bit background in Pro Tools for doing like little audio tweaks, a little bit of Photoshop, not really using that as much. More of it is the video aspect of it. Well,
in the industry, there's always new changes, new things coming. Anything with the techno stuff. Now, what's the up-and-coming stuff? Is it anything new that you're working on other than what you were just mentioned?
Yes, I actually have a show. I am almost done working on it. It should be airing in the next 2 weeks, hopefully. It's called Take Me to New Hampshire. It's a show based on the restaurants in New Hampshire, not just Nashua, but it could be the Seacoast, it could be Manchester, Londonderry, wherever I find a restaurant that's off the beaten track.
So that's interesting. So now you've done editing, now you're into the producing part.
Correct.
You're out there in the field. Are you doing the interviews yourself?
No, I actually hired a really great host. Her name is Dimitra Papadinas. She's really great. She's my host for my shows. She basically goes in and introduces the restaurant to us or to the viewer. And she interviews the chef, and the chef basically gives a background on the history of, their skills and the restaurant. It's more of an intimate interview than what you would see on a Food Network show.
Right. So you basically go to you definitely wouldn't go to McDonald's, obviously.
No.
But I'm just trying to think of somebody somebody on Main Street or on one of the by streets where there's a little restaurant, right?
Yeah. Actually, my first show that I shot was in Norton's Classic Cafe downtown Main Street. It was on Main Street in West Hollis. Little diner. It's a little 50s diner. So they have a lot of those stylistic 50s menu items. Meatloaf, cheeseburgers. Yeah. So we sat down with the chef. He talked about the history, how he made the restaurant, his background in culinary arts. It was really personal interview with him. He wasn't just saying hi, how you doing. He was more of giving you a personal background of him and the restaurant, which is nice.
That on the corner of Hollis and Main Street?
Yes, it's a little corner, like a little brick building.
So you just drive by it every day. You look at it. Oh, there's that restaurant still there. It's kind of a staple. Never been in there. All of a sudden now you're gonna go into that place, and you're going to say, "Hey, can we just talk about who you are and how long you've been here? Tell me a little bit about yourself," stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I basically, when I wanted to shoot them, I went in there asking if they were interested in possibly being on a TV show. And the chef was automatically interested. He's like, yeah, I'll
Sure.
do it. And, the staff was the same way. They wanted to get, on TV. They wanted to get the restaurant, known. Basically, in the background, when we were talking with the chef, he said that they never were on a TV show. They have a couple news clippings, but they never were featured on a TV show.
When you were interviewing, what were some of the things that were stuck out with your interview?
You mean during the show, or
Yeah.
when I talked to him before the show?
Well, both.
Both. I actually was interested in the fact that he went to a really high education school for culinary arts. I believe it was the Culinary Institute of America in New York. That was a very high-end, it's almost like Yale for cooks. And he went there, he got trained, educated, and he had a lot of experience after graduation doing a lot of like 5-star places for food. And he transferred that knowledge onto his his diner, in his food. And you can see he's very well trained in that area.
And you wouldn't think that going to a diner that the person behind the counter there was a 5-star chef.
Not even. You would never know. But
Yeah.
his food is amazing. You usually are used to diner food being greasy and sloppy and messy and just like, really gross. But no, not even.
No. And that's interesting. And,
Yeah.
and most people would go by that and probably not look because of maybe the location. Maybe you're always in a hurry. I got to try it someday. But unless you're walking down Main Street, you really probably haven't happened into that restaurant.
And there's free parking, like right next door. There's like a little side space next to the restaurant, free parking, so you don't need quarters.
Oh,
Yeah.
a place in Nashville, you don't need to pay for
Quarters.
parking. And what's the name of the restaurant?
It's Norton's Classic Cafe.
Norton's Classic. And how long did you interview him for?
The interview with him on the show lasted about, I would say, 10 minutes. He gave a lot of good information about it.
Now, were you behind the camera? Were you doing part of the interview? Did you set it up? How was the host? How did you interact with the host with that?
Well, what I did was I picked a spot for them to talk. It was basically a nice booth. I was behind the camera the whole time. I kind of set up the interview to where she would be the customer the whole time. So it's a little different setup than you would see on a Food Network show where they're just there to be the host, but they're not the customer. They're not treated like a customer.
Right.
So she sits down, orders food like a customer would, and she talks about the atmosphere, and then the chef comes over and introduces himself. Hi, I'm George, the chef and the owner, and they have a little conversation just like they're friends, talking, and he talks about his background.
Well, that's got to be really interesting because when you look at your typical show, somebody is cutting something up. There's a recipe, like we said off camera. They may be interviewing some of the guests or some of the staff, but here you get the engine behind the machine, and that's the person who's putting their soul into the restaurant, and they want their name there. That's the gold nugget. That's the goose, actually, really. That's laying all these gold eggs, and that's the person you want to talk to and get to know. And what a neat idea.
It was great, yeah.
So you're going to be doing this around the state.
Yes, I actually have another spot in mind. Once I'm done once the show gets officially completed for this episode, I'm going to go to another location. I'm not going to say where.
Sure.
It'll be a surprise, but I am going to do different locations around New Hampshire. And they're not going to be locations that are like Bertucci's or places that everyone knows about because they're in the Hippo or because they're in the Telegraph. Like, these are going to be places that you may or may not know. Locals may know about it, but then locals may not. There was a customer that we did interview after the interview with the chef that he lived down the street from Norton's for a couple years, never once went into Norton's.
Right.
And he was amazed because his neighbor recommended going there that one day, which was the day we were filming. And he said he was so glad he went.
Right. So you're going to help. You're going to help us find these little nuggets that are out there that could probably use a little more exposure. Obviously these restaurants. It's a tough industry, and there's a lot of competition out there. And when you're a small business, it's nice to get a shot in the arm where a TV company comes in and, hey, look, we'd like to do a story on you. What a shot in the arm.
Yep.
Especially when you're doing everything to the best of your potential, You just want other people to know that you're putting your heart and soul into that, and you're giving them that opportunity, which is great. And it's also good for us because after a while, you know, you go to the big chains or you go to the normal. You want to go someplace that's yeah, let's try this. Let's try Mama's or let's try Papa's or Al's. Well, did you know that Al was a 5-star chef?
Yeah.
Well, you didn't know that.
Exactly.
And you bring that to the table. So that's quite admirable, and I'm sure there's going to be some good stories. And again, the name of the show is going to be?
It's called Take Me Out New Hampshire.
All right. Now, you have a background. Obviously, we talked a little bit about that. You also have your own little business on the side.
Yes, I do.
And what is that called?
It's called Mise en Suite Productions.
Mise en Suite?
Yeah.
That sounds very French.
It is.
Are you French?
Oui. No.
Mise en Suite.
Yeah. I was trying to figure out a name for my company, and of course, a lot of names are taken. And so I was trying to think of a really creative name for my company, and I thought of a term that's actually a film term. It was mise en scène, which basically means, you know, stuff that's in front of the camera, all the different things in front of the camera at the time.
Mise en scène.
Yeah, mise en scène. So
Oui.
I figured, so I figured, you know, what can I do for mine? So I was looking up different words in French that would mean sequence, because I'm an editor and I need to know, you know, what goes first, second, third, sequence. So I came up with mise en scène, or sorry, mise en suite, and suite apparently means sequence in French as well. It also means room, but I think it came up as sequence. So
What do you do?
what do I do?
Yeah.
Generally, what I do is I do little producing. So I do my show. I help other people for a little fee produce their show. Unless they're nonprofit, then I can do it for free, obviously. Mainly.
So if somebody comes to Access National, they got an idea. They want to do a show.
Yes.
They have very little experience, but they got a great idea. You can help them through this process.
Correct. Yes.
So if you want to do a promo, you can actually come to the station and do a promo here.
Yes.
At very little cost. And of course, you bring in some of your expertise with this.
Yes, and I do have my business. It does have a charge, unless they are doing it for Access National, which is public access. It would not be charged, obviously. Right. And if they're a nonprofit, local nonprofit that wants to do a PSA, or they want to do a little video clip to air on public access, obviously I will not charge them. But side businesses where they're actually doing something for their family, or they want a little video for something, you know, promo for something that's not, you know, nonprofit, I would do.
Can we just show a real quick clip of a PSA that you've done for me?
Yes.
We'll just take a real quick look at this. And you did this for my show called Speak Up.
Correct, yes.
Amherst from A1. We need PD here right now, please. Get me PD now! No, get me PD now!
Things happen very, very, very quickly.
If the parent isn't proven unfit, a parent should have the rights to their child.
So when the day came that I was supposed to get her back, I didn't know where he was.
They are the judge, they are the jury.
I went to give him a hug and a kiss to tell him that everything was going to be all right.
Basically, seen it all. This one caught you by surprise.
It was psychologically difficult.
What I want to do is show people that this is organized crime.
We are very uncomfortable.
My husband is beside himself.
This is a trained situation here.
Bullying to bizarre to dangerous.
The scary part was
Because you don't know what the end is.
Hello, my name is Kevin Avard, host of Speak Up TV. If you would like to be a guest on Speak Up, please contact me at speakupnh@gmail.com. We'll help you be heard. So that's a clip that you made for me, and I don't know how long it took you, and it's for the show. That's some of the work that you've done.
Correct, yes.
And great job. Great.
Thank
I
you.
applaud you. And you can do that for anybody. Supposing somebody wants to make a little public announcement for their fundraiser, you can help them with that.
Yes, I can.
Now, we just did an interview last week with the American Red Cross. They're having a blood drive coming up the 16th. Something like that you could do a promo
Exactly. They want to do like a small commercial, film at their headquarters, or do something local, or they just want to shoot a PSA in the studio, help with that.
Curious, if somebody were to have, say, a 50th anniversary or a wedding that was coming up, or a baby shower, can you take all the film clips and bring them together and put some music to it, and somebody could show that at an event?
Yes, I can. Actually, that is one of my clients for my business. That's exactly what I did with his. He was an older gentleman, and he had his wedding and honeymoon footage with all his family in a different country. And I took all those different clips. It was on like, I think, a Super 8 camera at the time. And I took all those clips, trying to make it a little sharper, a little better quality and color. And I took some music that he actually wanted me. He told me what kind of type of music he wanted to have in his video. And I basically put it all together for him as a nice little movie. And it was about 2 hours long. But it was really cool to watch because I wasn't live back then. So I put the music together with his, the ethnic wedding and stuff. And it was really cool. So yeah, if it doesn't have to be ethnic, I can do anyone's wedding.
Sure. So it could be a wedding, it could be a school graduation. If a class said, hey, listen, we'd like to hire you to take all our films of the year, all of our little clips, put it together, put a music, and so that when we have our graduation, you could flip that up, and that's some of the stuff that you do as well. Or if you need a commercial, that's your expertise, and that's one of the nice little hidden talents that it's here at Access Nashua. So if you want to take advantage of that, obviously there's a fee for the private things that you do, but for the public stuff, you're here for the support.
Correct.
Right. And you are relatively new here, but you've been putting out some pretty good products.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to some of these new shows. Do you have a website?
Currently, I do have a website. It's not an official website, but I do have a Facebook page for my company.
Okay.
I believe it's facebook.com/Mise en Suite Productions.
Mise en Suite Productions. And you can see some of your work there, or some pictures, or?
There are some pictures. I do have a link to my portfolio, as well as updates on my projects that I'm currently doing. I do have updates for casting calls who were either looking to be a guest on the show, as we're visiting restaurants, or restaurants or somebody who works at a restaurant that wants to be maybe featured next. Also, I do have updates on how my progress is going with the shows. So for this week, I'll say something like, I'm almost done editing,
Right.
It should be airing 2 weeks.
I was just going to ask you, what is the time frame for these shows? They're not going to be weekly, and more of a monthly type of thing? Or?
Yeah, it takes a lot of time to do these things. I'm thinking about one show per month is pretty much accurate for at least the work that is put into this.
Right. And if people want to contact you to be interviewed, should they still go to the webpage, or should they go to an email address?
I do have an email address. It is misensuite@gmail.com.
How do you spell mise en suite?
It is MISENSUITE.
Of course it is.
Yes.
Please say it one more time. Spell it out.
MISENSUITE.
At
gmail.com.
At gmail.com. And that's how people can contact you if they want you to be in their restaurant to interview the chef.
Or if they have a side project they want to do for a family, even if it's photo collage to music, anything promo related. If they need any help in a PSA, or they work for a nonprofit.
What is a PSA?
A public service announcement is a PSA. It's basically, it can be up to 2 minutes, and the person of the organization will go in front of the camera and speak about an issue or topic that they want awareness for something.
Right. How about political campaigns?
That works too.
Right.
Yes.
As long as there's not a call to money.
Exactly. We can't, on public access, they can't mention anything about profit, prices, selling something. It's just there to make the community aware of what's going on or what they want the community to know.
Right. So everything from the Red Cross to Help for Life or anything with cancer research or breast cancer research or anything like that, political ads, you can do it all here.
Oh, yes.
And you can walk people through. What should people be prepared? If they, look, I want to do a PSA. I've never done this before. Don't wear green. That's all they said, right? Because we have a green room here. We're sitting in a lily pad as we're talking right now. But we have all this blue around us. And I've got the halo, as you can see right above me. But what should people bring to the table? What do you ask for them?
When they're going to make a PSA?
A PSA, yeah.
Well, for PSA, they obviously have to have a topic in mind. They can't just come and make something up right there.
Right.
Obviously, they would have a topic if they want to make a PSA. It's a public service announcement. So if they're from the Red Cross and they're in desperate need of blood donations, they would come on camera and say, we are the American Red Cross of Nashua or wherever they are from. We are in desperate need of donations due to a crisis that happened. Right. And they would just go on to describe it and how people can, donate blood and stuff. And they would just basically plan, know what they're going to say. And
right. Time, date, where to meet, and things like that. And really, it's that simple.
Yes.
Just come with a brief message that you can either have in a script, because we have monitors here where people can actually read it if you're not comfortable. Is it scary to be sitting here with me?
It is my first time, but it's not that scary. You're not that intimidating.
Right. So when you come to Access Nashua, it's easy to sit here and have a conversation.
Yeah, it's natural. It's like a cafe.
Right. So Jackie, congratulations on your show. I think it's going to be great. And I'm sure that the people that are being interviewed are going to really appreciate what you do. You're really helping them out a lot.
Thank you.
One more time, how do they contact you?
You can contact me by email, misonsui@gmail.com, or you can check out my Facebook page, facebook.com/misonsui productions.
How about Access Nashua?
That too. You can contact them. I do not know their number off the top of my head.
AccessNashua@gmail.com.
Yes.
So,
there you go.
Great. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
And if you need something here at Access Nashua, if you need to produce something and you don't know how to go about doing it, you have a lot of photos, a lot of films, you want to have an event, contact Jackie. She can help you out. And as you can see from one of the clips that we just showed you, that she does a really good job at putting things together. Thank you for watching Gate City Chronicles. And we want to thank our sponsor, Aardvark Dean of Clean, the carpet cleaner in Nashua. You can reach him at 603-630-1743. And if you would like some more information about Gate City Chronicles or want to be a guest, contact me at gatecitychronicles@gmail.com. Until next week, thanks for watching.
The preceding program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.